Good evening, Professor.
Hello, Beta. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
All right. Hi, Alexis. All right. Listen to this. We're going to go over the quiz because so a lot of people had issues, and we're going to go over the quiz, and we're going to review, and we'll review on Tuesday, and go over my recordings. It's there. Whatever we're going to have, whatever is going to be on the exam, going to be very similar. So you should not have a problem. However, what I noticed that, and I keep stressing this, the mistakes that I saw were people getting a little bit ahead of themselves. And as I said before, you think you have it, but when you're driving by yourself, it becomes a little challenging. So let's start right now. I don't want to hold up because we have a lot to cover. Hold on. All right, I'm going to drive and let me take off. All right. So these right here, these are APRs, right? So we know that the formula for the APR, right, to convert it into EAR, right? We know that it's you convert this 0.105 because this is going to get turned into a decimal. That's the only way you can do it. Divided by 12, right? Plus 1, the exponent of 12 minus 1. This right here, it says APR compounded monthly, right? So you know it's 1 year, so it's the same amount. It's the same amount. This one, you say 0.099, right? You move the decimal place 2 places, right? You put a 0 in front of it, right? 0.099 divided by 365 plus 1, the exponent of 365 minus 1, and you come out to this. Okay, let me drive. Now, this one right here, right? So N equals, what is it? How many years is this? N equals 60. IY, you gotta match the IY. You gotta match this to the months. You gotta convert this because it says monthly. So 5 divided by 12 is your IY. Whatever you get for that, that's what you plug in as your IY, right? We're calculating for payment, right? That's what you get. And then future value is 0, present value is 20,000, and then we compute for payment. We come out with this whole amount here. Now, 5 divided by 12, right? So when we want to find out how much this is, we say 5 divided by 12 is 0.4116. We put 2 zeros in front of it and convert it into a decimal, and we multiply by 20,000. That's going to be our interest payment, right? And then we subtract, because the whole thing, 294.09 plus 83.33. Wait, give me 1 second. 294.09 plus 3.33 plus. So the loan, the whole payment is 377.42. And then you make these adjustments, right? You know how much is going towards the principal and how much is going towards the interest. You got to split it up. Once you know this part, the 0.41116, whatever it is, you add 2 zeros in front of it and you multiply by 20,000. And that's going to give you 8333. First, get the amount of the loan, 377.42. Then you'll be able to know, then you subtract the interest, then you know what's going into the principal amount. Okay? This one. Okay. You put the 1.1 million, 1,100,000, you put it down and you put a subtraction next to it. In front, right next to it, right? Now I want to calculate my mortgage payment for this 700,000, not this 1.1 million. This right here, my initial balance, this is what I sold it for, right? So what we're going to do, we're going to say 30 years, we're going to convert that into months, right? Monthly. So 30 times 12 is 360, right? 360, 525 divided by 12 to reflect the monthly. 525 divided by 12, right? Then we're computing for payment. Future value is 0. Future value is 0 here, right? Present value is 700,000. Then we get the payment amount. Once we have the payment amount, we have to calculate how much we owe the bank. How much do we owe the bank once we get the payment amount, right? The payment. So what we're going to do is the net between the amount of years that we paid, which is 222. It's always the same in this problem. And the amount that the original loan. So it's 360, right? Minus 222, which is 18 and a half months, is 138. Now we're going to say N equals 138. IY equals 5.25 divided by 12. The payment amount that I came up with when I did this as my payment, right? Present value is 0 and compute for present value. And I subtract that present value amount to this. And it says to the nearest dollar. And that's how you do this problem. Next one. The lease. Take the purchase price of the car, put it down, and put a negative. 33,000, put negative, right? 33,000 and put a negative. Let's find the present value of our residual value. That's the first thing we have to do. So N equals 36. IY equals 5.75 divided by 12. Right? Divided by 12. Right? Payment is 0. Future value is 15,000. Present value is, when we compute for present value, so it's going to be about 12,000 something. They use the same residual amount. It used to be about 12 grand. Right? I subtract it from this 33, where I've had it here with a negative. I subtract it here from this 33. The answer that I get, the net amount that I get, that's the amount that I'm financing. That's the amount I'm trying to find the payments for, right? So N equals 36. IY equals 5.75 divided by 12. I'm computing for payment, so I leave payment alone. Future value is 0. The net between the 12,000 and change and the 33 subtracted from here is what's going into my present value amount. And then once I plug that number in, I compute for payment. Now I'm getting payments like $1,000. It can't be that much if I'm financing $21,000 for 3 years. Doesn't make sense, right? Okay, next one. The vacation, the same principle that we use on the first one, right? So it says right here at 12%. So 12 over 12, 0.12 divided by 12 plus 1 in the exponent of 12 equals 12.68. They're already giving me the 9%, right? So 1.09 squared minus 1 gives me this, 1881. So it's better for me to get the loan from the credit card than my parents. Here's another one, okay? The original term of the mortgage was 30 years, and the mortgage is exactly 4 years and 8 months. So I paid 56 months out of this. They already given me the amount. I don't have to do this part. I already know the amount. Now I need to find out how much I owe. So I have to subtract. I paid 56 months out of 360. So there's 304 months left. So N equals 304. IY equals 6.375 divided by 12. Payment is negative 2,356. You don't have to put negative, but I prefer you do, right? So 304 is the net between the original and this. They trying to throw you off. 30 years. 30 years is 360. It's monthly, right? And the mortgage is exactly 4 years and 8 months. For 4 years and 8 months equals to 56. So I subtract 56. So I convert this into months, right? And add this to that. So that becomes 56. 48 plus 8 is 56. Then over here, I make this 360 and I subtract 56 from 360, right? Now, 360 subtract 56, whichever way. So there's 304 left, 304 months left. So N equals 304. IY equals 6.375 divided by 12. Divided by 12, right? Payment is negative 2,356. Future value is 0, and then compute for payment. And I come up with 354,900. I didn't sell the house. I want to know how much I owe if I was to pay it off in one shot right now. This is what I owe. They've given me everything already. Here are my payments and what's left. 304 months. That's what I need. Yes.
You said
Yes,
compute. You said compute for payment. It's compute for present value, right?
present value. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. You're right.
Thank
You're
you.
right. I'm sorry. You're right. I
Professor,
already have
yes, again, please. Thank you.
This is giving you everything already. The original term of the mortgage was 30 years. And the mortgage is 4 years and 8 months old. So you have to subtract, you have to convert this into months. So 30 times 12 is 360. This one is 8 months. So you leave 8 months alone. In 4 years, 4 years is 48. So this is 56. So you're going to say 360 minus 56 equals 304. So N equals 304. IY equals 6.375 divided by 12. Payment is negative 2,356. Future value is 0. And compute for present value. And you should come out with this number. And it says round to the nearest dollar. Pay attention to those things. Okay. So here we are trying to calculate the amount of months. But first we need to find out how much we owe on the original loan. Right? So the original loan is for 4 years. I want to know the amount of if I pay for $500 a month for 4 years, what my amount is, right? The present value of it. So N equals 48. N equals 48. IY equals 8 divided by 12. Payment equals 500 negative. Okay, 500 negative. Future value is 0. And then compute for present value. Now, the next part is I'm solving for N. IY equals, so I leave N alone. IY equals 8 divided by 12. Payment is negative 750. Whatever amount that I got when I calculated the loan balance here is what I'm going to put in present value. Future value is 0. And then compute for N. And this is what I get.
Sorry, Professor, can you repeat this one?
Absolutely. One more time. I have a loan, right? And I'm paying $500 a month. I got a better job, so I'm able to make $250, pay $250 more on the loan. So first I have to calculate how much, I want to see how long it takes me to pay it off. Now that I'm making an additional $250 on it. So first I have to calculate what the amount is at what my original amount for the loan was, right? So 4 years, this is monthly, compounded. So 4 years is equal to 48 months. So N equals 48. The IY is 8% divided by 12. 8% divided by 12 is the IY. The payment, negative 500. Right? Future value is 0. Compute for present value. Now the answer is 21,023. I don't know what the answer is, but I'm going to use the answer for my next calculation. So now I'm solving for N. I want to know how long it takes me, how long it's going to take me to pay off this loan that I'm paying $250. So I leave N alone because that's what I'm solving for. So IY equals 8% divided by 12. Payment, I'm making an additional, is negative 750. Right? Remember, it can't be going in the same direction. Right? Especially when it's on the same line. So payment is negative 750, what I'm going to be paying. The present value is the answer I got here. That's my present value. Future value is 0, and I compute for n, and I come up with this. Okay. So I have the loan amount. I have the loan amount. Let me finish. I have the loan amount. All I need to do is calculate the interest amount. And the way I'm going to do that, 6 divided by 12 is 0.5. Turn off the mic, please. 6 divided by 12 is 0.5. So 0.005 times 20 equals 1881. And I see it right here. So I just subtract 1881 from this 386, and I come out with this answer right here. The main part of this is to come out with, because remember what's left, right? I'm sorry. Did I say 20,000 or no? 0.005 times 3,762.36. Sorry about that. Did I say 20,000?
Yeah.
No, I
yeah,
said
so it's a
I did? No. 0.005 times the balance. 0.005 times the balance. So the first month you can see over, it tells you at first month, so we can do the calculation for the first month. We know that the payment's 386. Now the same thing happens, right? If we say 0.005 times 20,000, then this is what we're supposed to get. We get $100. In the first month, the amount that goes towards principal is 286, and towards interest is 100. Therefore, you can see over time, as you pay down on principal of the loan, less of your amount has to go to cover interest and more payment go towards reducing the principal. I told you that last class. Each time you pay down on the car, this gets less and less and less and less.
Could you repeat how you got the second part?
Can I repeat what, Beta?
How you got the second part, the 367?
Beta, listen to me. This, you bought the car for 20,000, right? Now you've made almost like, you made 50 payments. There are 10 payments to go, right? This is what you owe on the car. This is what you owe. But keep in mind, you always pay this amount, no matter what. You're always going to pay this amount. So the question is asked, how much of this goes towards your interest? And the way you do that is more, this is the balance. This is the balance. So I'm going to say 6 divided by 12 is 0.5. That's a percentage. Now I want to convert it into a decimal. I'm going to make it 0.005, right? So if I say 0.005 times 3,762.36, it comes out to 1881.
Got it.
Right?
Yeah.
Got it?
Yeah. And where is the 367.85 from?
That's the remaining balance. These two add up to this.
Got it. Okay. Thank you so much.
And this is what you do in the original. First day is the bottom part. Okay. People got this wrong. All right, let me explain this one. Same thing, but asking in a different way. All right. So 10 years, N equals 120. 10 years, N equals 120. IY equals 4.85 divided by 12. Future value is 0. Present value is 35,000. Compute for payment. And that's it. That's it. This 10-year, it's not annual. It says monthly. It says monthly compounding. So this has to be converted and this has to be converted. Right? So 10 years become 120. Right? 10 times 12. Right? This 4.85 divided by 12 because we have to make it a monthly interest. Right? And we're computing for payment. Future value is 0. Present value is 35,000. And this is our amount, 368.67. Okay, listen to me. The whole idea of this investment, right? If I'm going to invest in a business and somebody's going to give me back 5,708, if I take the present value of 5,708 and it's greater than my initial investment, then I'm ahead of the game. I'm ahead. I'm expecting 7%, but my buddy's going to give me 5,708. And if you do this the way I asked you to do this, I was talking about this before, to see that the interest that you're getting is almost like 20-something% in this. But all I need to do is take the present value of this, what it'd be worth next year. If it's greater than this, which means that if I would invest it in anything for 7%, it wouldn't give me this amount back. So he's giving me more, because once you do the present value of 5,708 at 7%, it's greater than my initial investment. So which means they're giving me more money, right? And he should invest in the business, right? Anytime your initial investment is greater, your initial investment present value is greater than your initial investment, you should do it.
Isn't the initial
Right here, the initial about you investing right here, this amount, the present value of this is this. So it's greater than this. That's your initial investment right here. You're about to invest. So initially, that's what you're starting with.
So shouldn't we not invest in the business because the present value of the other?
No, absolutely not. Michelle, listen to me, Michelle. We have to invest in because listen to me. This is what you're putting in, right? Let me finish. Hold on. Let me finish. This is what you're putting in, and this is what you're getting back. If I take the present value of what you're getting at the end of the deal, it's greater than your initial investment. You better do it. You better do it. Now, to solve another issue, right? To solve another issue, to see that you're getting the expected rate of return is 7%. Now, on your calculator right now, if you put N equals 1, IY equals 7, payment is 0, Present value is negative 4,000. No, IY. Leave IY out. Start over. Scratch. N equals 1. Leave IY alone because we're going to be solving for IY. Payment is 0. Present value is 4,929. And future value is 5,708. So this is negative present value, and the future value is 5,708. There is no payment, and we're solving for IY. Solve for IY. What number do you come out with? Anybody? Can somebody help me here?
15.8.
Right. Is that greater than the 7% you expect to return?
Yeah.
That's what it means. And here's another one for you. If you take this number, 4,929, and you take the future value of it for 1 year at 7%, it'll be less than this. Way less. So of course you should invest in the business. Okay?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. All right. Let's where did we leave off? We were on chapter 3. Let's review. We finished chapter 3, right?
We were on chapter 2.
Chapter 2. When we stopped?
I think we had just finished chapter 2.
Yeah, we finished chapter 2. All right, let's go to chapter 3. Let's go to the quiz. Now, a little secret with Professor Michaud. If you don't see me making a big deal about it, don't worry about it. You get it? Does everybody understand that?
Yeah, we understand. Thank you.
Got it. All right. Okay. All right. You see this one? Okay. Okay. So let's do this one. When I haven't decided, so that can go in. Your grandfather put some money in an account for you on day you were born. You're 18 years old and allowed to withdraw the money. The account has currently 3,996 and it pays 8%. How much money you have in the account if you leave it to your 25? So here, n equals 7. Let me drive. N equals 7, right? IY equals 8, right? And payment is 0. Present value is 3,996, and then compute for future value. You come out to 6,848. Now, this one says that if you left the money to your 65. So 65 minus 18, last time I checked, is 47, right? So N equals 47. IY equals 8. I'm going to go real slow. IY equals 8, right? Present value is 3,996. And then compute for future value. You should come out to 148,779. Okay? Round to the nearest dollar. Pay attention to these details because that's where a lot of people were making mistakes.
Professor, can you please explain that again?
Okay. the initial investment when you're 18 years old. This is what you have in the account. $3,996. We have it right now. That's the present value. Do you understand that so far? Right?
Yes.
Now I'm going to leave it till I'm 25. Right? And I'm going to take it. So 25 minus 18 is 7. Right? So N equals 7. IY equals 8%. Payment is 0. Present value is 3,996. Compute for future value. Now the other part says if I left it till I'm 65 years old. So 65 minus 18 is 47. So N, you have the present value, not this. That's the mistake people are going to make. So N equals 47, IY equals 8%, payment is 0, right? Present value is 3,996, and compute for future value. And you're going to come out to this. This is the number you use. That's your present value on both equations.
There's a last one also, Professor, the C part.
Okay. Now, it says, how much money did your grandfather originally put the account? Right? So now, N equals 18. N equals 18. IY equals 8. Payment is 0. Future value is 3,996, and compute for present value. And that's $1,000. Okay. Your cousin is currently 11 years old. She's going to be going to college in 7 years. Your aunt and uncle would like to have $100,000 in a savings account to fund her education at that time. Right? If the account promises to pay a fixed rate at 3.9 per year, how much money they need to put into the account today to ensure that they will have $100,000 in 7 years. So here we have to take the present value of $100,000. So N equals 7, IY equals 3.9, payment is 0, future value is 100,000, and then compute for present value. And you should come out to 76,505.24. This is the same question that was given before, right? So look, if I take the present value of 90,000, it's 60,916. So it's better that I take the future amount because it's greater than the amount offered today. He's offering me $45,000 today, or 90,000 in 8 years. the present value of 90,000 is greater than if I were to take the 45,000 and put it away at 5%. Right? This is greater. This is greater, much greater. So it's to take the future value. Okay. This question, right, is a lot of people make a lot of mistakes on this. First thing first, if you see this on the test, right, if you see this on the test, do not put 80 million inside that box, 190 million. It tells you right here, round to 1 decimal place. Let that sink in. Round to 1 decimal place. Okay, so let's calculate this, right? Honda Motor Company is considering offering a $2,000 rebate on its minivan, lowering the vehicle price from $30,000 to $28,000. So that's the amount of the rebate, right? They lowered the price. They're offering you a rebate, an incentive. The market group estimate that the increase, right, the rebate will increase sales over the next year from 40 to 55,000. So let's calculate the rebate amount, right? So we're going to say 2,000 times 40,000. So that's 80 million. Then we're going to say 40 minus 55, right? How much is that? 40 minus 55. Come on.
15,000.
Right. So we're going to say 15 times 6,000. And that's going to be 90 million. So, which is higher, the rebate or the benefit of the rebate?
The benefit.
So it looks attractive, right? If this was higher than this, I told you that happens with my lab, right? The last 2 times that we've done this, it was the other way around. Now, the rebate is higher. So it's beneficial. So offering the rebate does look attractive, right? Because it's higher. We've made more money. This is what we made. This is what it's costing us. So net, we've made $10 million for the firm, which is a lot of money for a car company, right? Okay, so you're planning to invest $5,000 in an account earning 12% per year for retirement. If you put 5,000 in the account at the age of 23 and withdraw it 43 years later, how much will you have? So in this situation, you're going to withdraw the money 43 years from now, right? So N equals 43, IY equals 12, right? Payment is 5,000 negative, right? And then present value is 0, compute for future value. The next one, the same thing. This says for 33 years, N equals 33, IY equals 12. Payment is negative 5,000. Present value is 0. Compute for future value. This is with the decimal, but we're doing it on a calculator. The mistake that I made once, I subtracted this 23 from here. That's a mistake. I did that myself. So I'm letting you know. So it says right here, 43 years later. Someone had to correct me in the class. This happened in this class. I got corrected. So keep that in mind if you see this question.
Professor, can you please explain because my answer is not coming up 653.
You're not coming up with 653?
Yeah.
All right. You see this right here? This is the same thing. So look, n equals 43. IY equals 12. Payment is negative 5,000. Hold on, my screen just went blank. Payment is negative 5,000, right? Present value is 0. Future value, compute for future value. And you're going to come out to 653, 649.57. The next one, it says if you wait, what? You
Professor,
got it wrong?
yes, still getting same 5405413.
Then you're not doing it right. You're doing something wrong. Clear out your calculator. You're doing something wrong. What did you say? Someone sent me a text. What did you say?
I said I'm not getting that either.
For me, the professional calculator is giving me the 5,000 they're talking about, 5,000,004, and the analyst is giving me the correct answer. So I don't know if it has to be reset.
No one's getting this answer right here?
I got that answer. I think you may have said that the 5,000 is the payment, but it's the present value, and then it should work.
You're right. 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 It's not payment. It's not payment. I should have seen that here. It's the present value. I'm sorry. You're right. You're right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You're right. It's not payment. It's you're playing on investing. I didn't read that well. Thank you. Thank you, Beta.
No problem.
So I'm wrong. So that's why. Alexis, thank you. And everybody else. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, this is 5,000 going into the account. I'm sorry, I read that wrong. So let's start over. So N equals 43. IY equals 12. Payment is 0. Present value is 5,000. And then compute for present value. I should have seen this right here. This is the present value formula.
You mean compute for future value?
Future value, yes. Thank you, Rosie. Zero. And then this one is the same, but N equals 33. Okay, so this question right here, right? A lot of people, please listen to me and listen to me well, right? You put 1,000 in the bank today, 500 in the bank 1 year later. How much would you have in 2 years? So each one has to be done individually, and then you add them together, right? On the first one, for the 1,000, it's 2 years. N equals 2. Yeah, IY equals 2.5. Payment is 0. Present value is 1,000, and then compute for future value. After you're done with that, you're going to say N equals 1, IY equals 2.5. Okay, payment is 0. Present value is $500, and compute for future value. And then once you do that, you add them together. And then you come out to 1,563.13. Do not put this together and try to do it that way, because the answer is going to be wrong. Okay, so this right here, please, this one a lot of people got wrong. Let's go over this one, right? Now, I'm going to tell you something. If this answer is wrong, this answer is going to be wrong. So what we need to do here is to get the present value of each payment, right? This is for 1 year, the present value for 1 year, the present value for 2 years, and the present value for 3 years. And then we add them together. So on the first one, N equals 1, IY equals 9.1, payment is 0, future value is 18,176, and then compute for present value. Put that to the side. Second one, N equals 2, IY equals 9.1, payment is 0, future value is 36,352, compute for present value. Third, N equals 3, IY equals 9.1, right? Payment is 0, future value is 54,528, and then compute for present value. Add all of them up together, all the present values up together, and you put it here to the nearest dollar. After you've done that, then you take the future value of this amount. So N equals 3, IY equals 9.1, payment is 0, present value is 89,191, and then compute for future value. And then you're going to come out to this amount. Take your time with this, especially with this question, because one slip and everything is wrong.
What's the end value for the second part?
Here, n equals 3
Okay, just checking.
for future value. Okay, now, in this question, right, 24, 65 minus 24 is 41, but you add 1 to it. I said it, and I'm going to say it again. Whatever this is, you subtract it from here, right? 65, you subtract this number, whatever this is, and you add 1 to it, right? And then you do what you have to do, right? We're computing for payment. So in this situation, it's going to be n equals 42. IY is 3%. Present value, payment is, we're solving for payment, right? Future values, 4 million. Present value is 0, and then compute for payment. Are you guys coming up with this?
Yes.
Okay.
So when do you know that you have to add 1? Is it when it's
You
included?
do add 1. On this example, you add 1 all the time. Remember, we discussed that before. They do the annuity. You add 1 to this question all the time.
Oh, okay. There's another question where they're talking about the ages and you have to like subtract. But when it says that, here it says including your 65th birthday. So
No, Michelle, you listen to me. Whatever this is right here. Now, let me explain something to you. One of the things that we had discussed in one of the classes is that if, like somebody like me, we have a late birthday, right? And if I was turning 65, I don't want to wait a whole year. So I think on when you turn 65, you're eligible for the money. I think that's why they add 1 to it. We were discussing that in one of my classes, and we were discussing that. So it says the annuity formula, you add 1. Remember we talked about that in the homework? So in this situation, whatever this number is, when you do your subtraction, you add 1 to it. Okay? That's the formula.
okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay. All right, so here you have a loan outstanding. It requires making 3 annual payments of $9,000 each. Right at the end of the next 3 years, your bank has offered to allow to skip making the next 2 payments and you have 1 large payment. Right? In 3 years, if the interest rate is 4%, what is the final you'll be required to make so that it's indifferent to the 2 forms of payment? So here we're going to say n equals 3, IY equals 4, payment is 9,000. You can put negative, right? And present value is 0, and compute for future value. Oh boy, here's our, now, You know, when I was given this question, I was marking the papers by hand, which I like to do because I give breaks, especially with the rounding. But this question, I would say about 50 or 60% of the class get at least most of it wrong, some of it wrong, or one wrong. But I very rarely get a lot of people who get this right. So let's look at this and let's try to solve this. So in this situation, I plan to retire in 43 years. It's given me everything that I need. All I have to do now is do my calculation. So let me drive. Let's get it, right? N is equal to 43. IY is equal to 10%. Payment is negative 5,000. Present value is 0. Compute for future value. You should come out to 2,962,003 spot 46. Round to the nearest cent. Now, you don't want to confuse yourself and start getting cute, right? So let's just find the present value of this. So we're going to say N equals 43, I equals 10, right? Payment is 0. Payment is 0. Let me finish.
We can't
Future
see your screen,
value is
Professor.
1,000. What?
We can't see your screen. It's dark. It's broken up.
Oh. Hold on a
Yeah, there's a
second.
little lag on my end too.
How about now?
It's fine.
Yes, we could see it now.
All right. So let me continue. So now, as I was saying, N equals 43, IY equals 10, payment is 0. Future value is 2,962,003 spot 46. Compute for present value. And you come out to 49,169.99. Right? The second part, it says if you hope to live 20 years in retirement, how much can you draw every year in retirement until you exhaust it? Right? So here, I'm solving for payment. N equals 20. IY equals 10. I leave payment alone. Future value is 0. Present value is 2,962,003 spot 46. And then I compute for payment. I should come out to 347,915 spot 81. Now, this is saying I want to know if I would draw $300,000 per year, right? How long would it take me to exhaust the money, right? So I leave N out and I put 10, right? I put 10%, and payment, I put negative 300,000. Present value, I put 2,962,003 spot 46. Future value, I put as 0, and I compute for N. I should come out to 45 spot 84. Now, E, I'm solving for IY. So 43 is N. I leave IY alone. Payment is negative 1,000. Present value is 0. Future values 1 million. And then I compute for IY and I will come out to 11.74. Now on your homework, this was on the homework, it shows you exactly how to do each calculation. What I just did is being recorded. What I just did was being recorded. You go over it, you should not have a problem with this. You shouldn't have a problem, right? Take your time. Take notes that you can read. Don't scribble down things that in time of panic and in time of time, you're not going to get it. Okay? So this is a growing perpetuity where rate minus growth. Remember, rate minus growth. So $3,000 divided by 0.12 minus 0.02, which is 10. So 3,000 over 0.10, right, is 30,000. Now, you're going to say 3,000 times 1.02 divided by 0.12 minus 0.02, and you should come out to 30,600. All this is on the homework. But we're doing it from the quiz, so that way, this is how you would see it on the exam if you get this question. Where people usually mess up on this is that they say 3,000 times the interest rate, not the growth amount. This question is the perpetuity formula, right? Which is this formula where growing perpetuity. However, rate minus growth, this is on the decline. So you don't subtract here, you add both interest payments together. So this becomes 0.07 divided by 1,000. Right? You add these two together. There's no subtracting because it's saying saving declines. So it's a double negative, which means you add. So 1,000 times 0.07 divided by 0.07. Okay, so you want to buy a house. You want to buy a house. This is annual. This is annual, not like before. This is annual. You don't do any conversions here, right? Straight up. So now it's 300,000 for the house, and you put 43,000 down. So you're financing 257,000, right? 30 years. This is yearly per year, 9% per year. I don't see anything about compounding here. So N equals 30, IY equals 9, right? We're solving for payment. We leave payment alone, right? And then we go right into present value. Future value is 0. Present value is 257, and then compute for payment. This is your annual payment, right? And I said before, people who are very wealthy, some of them pay their mortgage once a year, and they're done with it. Okay, so here we're solving for IY, right? You have an investment account that started with $1,000 10 years ago, and which now has grown to $11,000. What is the annual? What's your rate of return? Okay, so we're going to say N equals 10. We're gonna solve for IY. We leave IY alone. Payment is 0. Present value is negative 1,000. Present value is negative 1,000. Future value is 11,000. Positive. This came out of my pocket, so it's negative. Future value is 11, and then compute for IY. And I get 2710. Now, this is where the mistake happens. It says if the investment account earned 13% from now on, what would be the value of 10 years from now? So we're going to use this money to get the future value of this. So N equals 10, IY equals 13, payment is 0, present value is 11,000. Compute for future value, and it's 37,340.24. Here, we're saying 9,000 divided by 0.06 is 150, right? 9,000 divided by 0.06, and forever at 6%, if we have $150,000, this 9,000 would be given to the scholarship fund forever, as long as 6% interest at 150. Here, we're going to say 9,000 divided by 0.10 is 90,000. Now we're going to take the present value of 90,000, but we're not going to say 10 years, we're going to say 9 years because we're starting at 0. We're going to start at 0. So N equals 9, IY equals 10, payment is 0, future value is 90,000, and then compute for present value. We start at 0. That's why it's 9, not 10. All right, let's finish up. Here, you buy a car and you want to know the payoff amount, right? So we're going to say N equals 4. This is annual. N equals 4, right? IY equals 6.4, right? Present value. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. No, scratch. IY equals, N equals 4. IY equals 6.4. Payment is 4,500 negative. Future value is 0 and compute for present value. And then for the year 1,
Professor, can you please explain again? Thank you.
okay. I'm trying to get a payout amount. Payout for a car. Right? I just bought a car and I'm trying to get a payout. I have it for 1 year now. I want to know how much I owe on the car. Right? So I'm going to say N. It says I've had it for 5 years. I have for 1 year. Now there's 4 years left. I want to know how much I owe. Each year, this is what I pay. But that's future value. I got to find the present value of this. Just like here. Because I didn't pay it yet. Right? If I didn't pay the interest yet. This is with interest and this is without. So this is what I want to know without interest. Because I'm not going to have use of it. So N equals 4. IY equals 6.4. Payment is negative 4,500. Future value is 0 and compute for present value. The second one is the same thing, right? N equals 1.
Professor, it's not coming up, the answer.
You're doing it wrong then. N equals 4. IY equals 6.4. Payment is negative 4,500. Present value is 0. I'm sorry, future value is 0. Compute for present value.
Yeah, now I got it.
Okay. And then for the next one, you do the same thing. N equals 1. IY equals 6.4. Right? Payment is 4,500. Future value is 0. And then compute for present value. And you should come out to that. All right. Whoever has any questions to ask me about next week, get your questions together, what you're not sure about, and then we can go over it. Okay?
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
So all right. Thank you. Bye-bye. I'll see you guys on Tuesday. Have a great evening.
Thank you, Professor. Enjoy the weekend.
You're very welcome.
Hey, Professor, can we talk for a second?
Yeah, sure. Slow down.
Yeah. Just wait for everyone to get out. Okay, great.
Yeah, what's up?
Um, yeah, so my just to basically my whole house has COVID at this point. So
Wow, I'm
uh
sorry to hear that.
yeah, I'm just taking the advice of my stats professor and just trying to let everyone but my professors know what's going on.
Okay.
So I'm I don't know why it happens right when midterms are about to start, so it's pretty stressful. But
You know what? Do what you have to do, and we'll worry about the midterm. Don't worry about that, right? And I mean, take the exam if you can. And if you can't, we'll just deal with that till you get better.
so if worse, because for now my mom got infected with it or started coming down with the symptoms last Thursday. I've been relatively okay since then, but I don't know how that's going to change in the next week. So would it be if worse comes to worse, I had to reschedule, would it be good for like during spring break at all, or would that be impossible?
We'll work something out. We'll work something out. All right. Don't worry about that. Take care of your family.
Yeah, because it's been rough. Because like this morning, I had to go to Manhasset, the North Shore over there,
Yeah, I know
for
that.
her to. Yeah, my grandmother needed to get her antibodies, and
Right.
I had to miss stats for that. But it's been rough. I had to go bury somebody, and now I have to worry about COVID. So,
Wow.
uh,
Well, I
but yeah,
wish you
thanks,
the
man.
best, man. Don't worry, okay? I mean, don't worry about this midterm right now. Take care of your family.
Yeah, but I'll keep you in the loop. I'll send
Absolutely.
emails. Thanks.
Absolutely. You're very welcome.
All right, thanks,
Okay,
sir.
bye.